All right, guys, let's move on to September home sales. Drop to the lowest level since the foreclosure crisis. I've been saying this for a long time, guys. I hate references to 2008, 9, even 2010, 2007, throw that whole window of time in there, anything that goes all the way back to that. There's some PTSD there for sure. That was a really rough market. I mean, the financial system was really sick, and a lot of bad things ended up cascading through the entire market. So this is very difficult to hear and talk about. But look, it's happening, guys. The inventory and the volume of homes on the market is substantially down from a year ago, which was down from the year prior to that. So now we have back-to-back declining years of home sales, and this all has to do with buyer sentiment.
That's it. I mean, these rates and the home prices is not helping. Again, I wanted to use an earlier analogy when home prices back in 1980 or so were 112,000 and the rate was 9%. It's very different when the medium sales price in San Diego currently, they're saying it's 890,000. At a 7-8%, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, and Andy, I mean, you talk about, we had 2 back-to-back years of declining sales. Well, it's like, sure, the sales are declining, but then you look and the median home price is still up to almost 3% year over year. I mean, where's the disconnect happening?
Well, again, it's that core function of everything kind of being squeezed in from all sides. Yeah. You have the cost of borrowing money that's gone up at the same time. The inventory is low, that we refinanced half the planet, maybe even more half the planet in 2020 and 2021.
Even the moon costs less.
So Brian mentions on the show all the time, golden handcuffs. People are just handcuffed to their house because they got a 2.5 or a 3 or whatever. Dude, even if you called someone right now and said, hey, I got a 4.5% rate, they'd be like, oh my God, that's amazing. Well, when rates are 2.5, you tell them 4.5, they're like, hey, go. Hit the road, get out of here.
It's funny you bring that up because I remember when I worked with that old brokerage I was at, when I first started, the refinance wave was dying down. Yeah. But I remember I talked to this one guy and I called him. He's like, I just refinanced. And, you try to go through the objection like, what'd they give you? And he's like, 1.9. Can you beat that? I'm like, well, have a good day.
Yeah. Good.
I can't believe that. That's crazy. That is crazy. I remember VA, even that was one of the lowest rates I got was 1.9%.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
So from the article, guys, sales of previously owned homes dropped 2% in September from August to a seasonally adjusted annualized rate of 3.96 million units. Yeah. According to the National Association of Realtors, sales were 15.4% lower compared to September of 2022.
Again.
That's a pretty steep fall off.
Yeah, again, people, why do I sell? If I'm going to sell and I'm going to get this $400,000 or $500,000 in equity that I have in there, that's great, right? If I put all the down payment into this new home purchase with a higher interest rate, it's like my payment's still higher. Yeah. Where before it was way different. If I sold something and I put my 20-30% down, I may have a little bit of a higher payment, maybe like $200-$300, but not in the 1,000, you know what I mean? Or 2,000. It's just crazy right now. It's just certain things are not making sense only because prior to rates were so low.
Mm-hmm. And part of this too, you get this from Lawrence Yun, NAR's chief economist, and he said this in the article himself, as has been the case throughout this year, limited inventory and low housing affordability continue to hamper home sales. The Federal Reserve simply cannot keep raising rates in light of softening inflation and weakening job gains. But again, this goes to the dual mandate of the Fed saying they need that. They need to restore price stability by quelling spending, cooling it down, and they need to see more unemployment. So it's like that has to happen. But here's what the effect of that is. First-time home buyers made up just 27% of sales when historically they make up 40%.
40, wow.
So that in and of itself, regardless of market conditions, regardless of everything else, this is the reflection of these impacts. 27% of sales are made by first-time home buyers now, compared to 40% historically. That's I think is drop. Maybe the underlying story of the whole thing is the first-time home buyer dream is becoming harder and harder to get, and there's fewer and fewer people getting it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what else to keep going on this. This is just crazy. It's just history just repeating itself, but in a more difficult way.
So I'll ask you guys, let's make a prediction on the show. We'll go back and we'll see if this happens. So when October comes out and November comes out and December comes out, do you think it's going to stabilize or continue declining?
I'm going to say it's going to stabilizing what? Interest rates?
No, the volume of sales, it's been in decline.
Oh, decline.
So September of last year versus September of this year, do you think October is going to be declining more or if it's going to be the same?
During these times, this is the season where people kind of just, hey, I want to start putting my Christmas lights on. I want to go ahead and prepare for Thanksgiving. They already send invitations out, so it's going to be a decline because we've seen it in the regular markets, things slow down. We see a lot of speed up like August, September. Well, actually, all the way from April, we see a big speed up. But I've always seen it in the years in this industry. I've seen it more so like August, September. People are like, okay, that's it. I made up my mind. Let me go. Let me sell. Let me buy. And so I'm gonna say there's a decline. Going down.
You, Mikey, you the same
decline.
thing?
Yep, decline.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you guys. Decline, unfortunately. I would love to see there be some sort of like flattening of it, but I do think it's a decline. Quarter four is traditionally all about the holidays, and people, again, to your point, Memo, August and September, people have moved into the neighborhood they need to move schools, get their kid on the right sports team, whatever that is, and then right before Halloween, it's kind of like that last push before, okay, I'm either going to get in or I'm not, and if I'm not, I'm going to wait till January anyway. So
yeah, again, we brought up the point where you go to Costco, it already has Christmas and everything. Like, are you kidding me? Are you really having to accelerate this time for us? Like,
it's okay. During December, you're going to see the swimsuits come out. So
and earlier we're talking about don't spend your money, but guess what's going to happen?
Everyone's going to be spending.
That's
crazy.
People are going to spend.
I know my wife Tanya's going to be like, "What did you get me?"
Yeah.
So, here we go.